I'm Nick Smalley.
And I'm Emma Smalley, and we are the co-founders of the Teasmith Gin.
We first started the project 3 years ago, back in 2015. We formed the company exactly 2 years ago, and we've been now on the market with the Teasmith Gin for the last 18 months. I think with starting any business, there are always a load of unknowns. And for us, we entered a market, we love gin, we knew about gin, but we entered a market that we really didn't know an awful lot about. In terms of how retail works and how the on-trade works, and so I guess it was a huge hurdle for us learning about just how, not just forming a product, but then how we actually get it to market.
So, as Nick said, we've been on the market now for 18 months. So we are starting to look at expanding our retail list further outside Scotland and further into the UK.
I think at the same time, we focused quite heavily on retail to begin with, so we focused quite largely on getting into key shops, but we're starting to really tackle the on-trade now, get into a variety of bars and hotels. We've had quite a success with that recently, with likes of adding our gin to the range here at Eat on the Green, Meldrum House Hotel, and some other really sort of key spots around Scotland. Ooh, to describe the gin in 3 words is really difficult, but I think for us, we would sort of define it as being very classic. It's understated, and it's very confident. We came up with the gin recipe really by trialing it on friends and family.
Yeah.
We started the process with a gin tasting hosted by Gin Club Scotland. And basically what we did, we exposed our friends and family just to a whole range of gins. And we got them to record what they liked and what they didn't like. And then we looked at the results at the end. And what was really clear was everyone was grouped in the same sort of area. So everyone liked just the right amount of juniper, not too strong, but not too weak. They liked slightly citrusy flavours, and they kind of liked a slightly sweeter gin. And that is essentially what we've created in the Teasmith. So it was actually really quite simple to come up with what the gin was needed to taste like as the result.
This is the type of gin that we really enjoy drinking as well, that kind of flavour profile, so it matched really well with
our own tastes. Yeah. All we had to do then was really, we took the tea and we distilled the tea to see what flavour notes the tea provides. And it was really interesting that the tea, we never really would have thought that the tea would provide these flavours, but basically the tea gave off very orangey flavours to begin with, and then it went incredibly minty. And so that's really one of the reasons we served fresh mint as a garnish. And from there, it was just a case of pairing those flavour profiles to more classic gin botanicals. And that's really how we came up. Well, I think what makes the Teasmith unique is the fact that it's the first gin in Scotland to use tea as one of those botanicals, which sort of instantaneously sets us apart. But also, what makes it slightly different is that our focus with the brand is about the sort of key botanical that goes into it. A lot of the other brands around Scotland are maybe sort of geographic-based brands, whereas we really focus on sort of the main ingredient that goes into it. At the same time, we've managed to sort of tie it into a local story. So right here in Udney, Newbury used to be our major trading port, and tea was the big import. But we also discovered the story of James Taylor, who grew the very first tea in Sri Lanka, and as a result, we've chosen a Sri Lankan tea to be the tea of choice that goes into the Teasmith.
I think the other thing that makes us a little bit special is the design and our brand. We put a lot of time into the design when we started with our partners Fortitude Studio. Our bottle's got quite a lot of fine, intricate details, and we're really proud of what was created. And as a result, we a number of design awards last year, and again this year we've been nominated for a Scottish Gin Award for branding.
I think it's hard, it's really difficult. You know, it's been the last 3 years we've been juggling full-time jobs, you know, coming up with business, you know, having family life. It's really difficult. I think the key thing is friends and family have been a huge help. So quite often if we've got big events, friends and family will help come up and sort of look after Finley. We just have to be really organised with our time and accept that we end up spending a lot of our evenings, sometimes after 8 PM, it's really when the business starts. And we end up working sort of from 8 PM onwards on the business. But
yeah, it doesn't always feel like work when you love what you do though.
Exactly.
We don't mind sitting there in the evenings and just chatting gin and over gin tonic.
yeah.
It's actually, it doesn't always feel like work, so enjoy what you do.
I think there's been a number. There's not just one highlight. I think a key thing for us is when we go out and we'll say go to a really respected bar or restaurant and there's a bottle of Teasmith behind the bar and we can sit there and enjoy sort of our own product. There's something really that's still a little bit surreal about that. It gets even more surreal if we're sat there and then maybe there's a couple next to us doing exactly the same thing, and so it's almost like what we designed, other gin lovers enjoying our product as much as we do. To actually see that happening is just really cool.
And I think last year as well we got nominated for 3 Scottish Gin Awards for distilled product, excellence in marketing and branding, and then we've been nominated again this year for those. And that's always a real highlight, is when you're actually getting recognised and you're up against some of the really big, you know, amazing Scottish brands like Harris and Eden Mill, and you're up against them in the categories. That feels really good as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think our friends and family have been absolutely amazing on this journey so far. They're so supportive, they share everything on social media for us. They've almost become kind of like our Teasmith army of brand ambassadors. They're, you know, they're great, and they don't live locally. Like Nick's family are in Australia and mine are down in England, so it's really great that they're so behind the product and so supportive of us.
I think the other thing is we've had some real key partners up here. So we've had 42 Studio who helped us to develop the brand. They were with us from such an early stage, and they just got it, and they just designed something so beautiful. So like they've been absolutely fantastic. Strathern Distillery themselves were really open to us when we came along with such a quirky sort of concept. So they've been really great at actually delivering the spirit, making sure the product's always ready on time. And more recently we've been part of a business growth scheme with Opportunity Northeast, and that's really given us a huge boost recently, like just really helping us come up with a strategy and a plan for the next couple of years, and giving us some really good advice. So
it helped open up a lot of new contacts and new support agencies that are out there for us as well, which there's a lot locally.
So there's been a lot of people who have helped us along the way. It's something that we definitely couldn't have done, you know, without other people's assistance. I think Scotland has this really diverse sort of range of landscape and ingredients and stories, and they're sort of like the 3 key ingredients, I think, to coming up with a really good product. And obviously Scotland has this heritage, this history with distilling, and so I think the Scottish portfolio is just this really great quality, diverse range of really good quality spirit. So I think it's a really good place to start and sort of work your way around. It's a really interesting question, because there's been a lot of debate over it in the last sort of 12 to 18 months. I think for us it's that as long as there is a distillation step or a compounding step that's taken place within Scotland, then that's really probably enough to call it Scottish gin. The reality is we'll probably never be able to source all of our ingredients from within Scotland. So for instance, the coriander seed that we use comes from Morocco. We use a dried orange peel that comes from Turkey. But I think as long as we're bringing those elements, those botanicals, and bringing them back to Scotland and then carrying out that distillation here, that really for us is enough to call it a Scottish gin.
Absolutely, I think we're finding more and more that gin drinkers are really interested to find out the provenance behind the brand. Very often it's one of the first questions that we get asked if we're attending an event. People will come up and say, oh, where's your gin from, where is it made? So absolutely they are, they're much more interested and want to ask those kind of questions.
And I think what we've tried to do is we've been always like really open from the start.
Yeah.
So we're really proud of our relationship with Strata, and you know, we print it clearly on the label where the gin's distilled and bottled. And so we've found that openness has gone down really well with our customers, just because it's just really clear for them to know.
Wow, in 10 years' time, I think I would really love to see the Teasmith recognised as a brand nationally.
Just get that, just to have it known across the UK.
Yeah.
But I think certainly for the gin industry, what we'd love to see is gin following in the success that the Scottish whisky industry has had around the world. I mean, at the minute, the size of the gin market is still a fraction of the size of the whisky market when it comes to sort of international trade. So I think it'd just be really good to see when you're going through the airport at duty free, you know, a Scottish gin section that is as big as the Scottish whisky section. I think that'd be a really exciting time for us, and I can absolutely see it happening.
You were so cheesy.